All right, welcome back to the new SEC podcast. I'm Hunter Ziesman, joined here by Randall Ledet Jr. As always, we have an SEC matchup at night. South Carolina Gamecocks are playing the Missouri Tigers. South Carolina dropped out of the rankings after a big loss against Vanderbilt last week at home. Now they travel on the road. Questionability at quarterback, whether Lenore Sellers is going to be playing. We're recording here on Monday, and there's still really no word on what that head injury was, if he's going to be ready to go. For South Carolina's sake, I hope he's playing. Backup quarterback didn't look great, but looking at this game, what are we thinking?
Yeah, when I'm looking at this game, it's going to come down to, I think, a couple things. What can the South Carolina offense do, whether it's with Lenore Sellers or with their backup quarterback? And can Missouri continue this offensive prowess, similar to what they did last week and similar to what they did against Kansas, another Power 4 team? Those are the two keys for me in this game.
Yeah, the first one, I mean, especially South Carolina offense. We're on week 4. There's a saying, when you're looking at something, the first time something happens, it might be a mistake. Second time, it's a coincidence. Third times, you got a pattern. And at that point, the pattern right now is South Carolina's offense is bad. There's no way around it to look at it. There's things that need to change if this team is going to be even somewhat competitive in the SEC this year, especially to the expectations that they had coming into this year. Now, I know Sellers got hurt against Vanderbilt, but it wasn't necessarily sunshine and rainbows before the injury as to how this offense was performing. So right now things have to change, and I'm not sure what it is, but if you got Luke Doty out there, I don't know why. I don't know, you put Aaron Noland out there. I don't know what they're going to do, but something's got to change for South Carolina offensively.
Yeah, they definitely need to get more vertical in the air for South Carolina. You need to, stop allowing as many turnovers. And I don't want to harp on it too much. I feel like most of the media is talking about how this offense has looked. I've heard people coming at Shula and talking about all the OCs that have come through this program and have not really gotten this offense to where they'd like to see it. There's so much talent in the state of South Carolina. And there's so much talent on this team. We talk about it all the time. Capabilities, abilities, results. It's not there. It's not there. And for this game, you're playing a good Missouri team where their defense is pretty serviceable. Their offense can score. So this South Carolina defense in this game is going to probably be able to hold them for a certain point, but eventually they're going to score. I mean, you got a guy in Ahmad Hardy who is second in the country right now in rushing yards. 250 of those came against Louisiana Lafayette, but he's going to run the ball. South Carolina's defense cannot afford to be on the field a ton in this game if they want to have a shot to win.
Yeah, South Carolina's defense is suffering from the fact of having to stay on the field a lot, and they're putting their team in positions to win games that aren't being aided by the offense. So I like the South Carolina defense. I really do. I mean, Dylan Stewart was ejected from the last game, but he'll be good to go against Missouri. It's not one that's going to carry over into this game, which is interesting, but it's the way it goes. I think South Carolina's biggest issue right now, and then we'll get into Missouri and what they can do, but right now South Carolina's O-line hasn't clicked yet. They're not letting their quarterbacks get hot, not letting them get going, and that's turning into similar issues for the backup quarterback. So if you have anyone going out there, I think if South Carolina's offensive line is playing well, then whether it's Sellers or Doty that goes out there or Aaron Noland, you have good playmakers at receivers. You have Matsio Bennett, you have Nick Harbor, you have guys, Russell Faison, you have guys who can play. It just seems to really be the O-line, which I'd imagine is a key focal point of this team going into weekly practices and going into games, that if they can get that right, then they might be okay. I mean, Missouri has a pass rush that we can talk about, but I think that's the key for this game for South Carolina is your O-line has to improve. Let's stop looking at the receivers or the running backs or the quarterbacks. It's right now, it's the O-line.
Yeah, it's going to come down to the trenches, and it always does in the SEC. And, especially if you're trotting on a backup quarterback, he's going to need time to get the ball out and get to the right guys. It makes me think about how much maybe Rocket Sanders covered up for this team last year and how much his abilities helped create more passing opportunities and that kind of dual threat running with Sellers, right? On the flip side, this Missouri offense, you got Marquise Johnson on the left side. You have Kevin Coleman, who's getting more involved at the receiver position. And Bo Prabula is not a slouch. He's 27th in the nation right now in passing yards, 791. He's tied for 21st with 7 touchdowns in the country, right? And they have some real competition on their schedule thus far.
Yeah, Missouri has done what they need to do against Kansas. Now, Purbulla had a pretty big turnover that led to points in that game, but they're finding their stride. Like the running backs are good, the receivers are good. Bo Purbulla, they found their guy, which is great for Missouri. So I think this Missouri offense will be able to score. You're going to have to keep up in a game like this. Now, the over-under set at 46.5. Vegas projecting a little bit low scoring. If you're looking at South Carolina historics, then that would lead you to believe that. But I
got one more question for you after this.
Okay. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, looking at this game, we talked on both sides. What does this game mean for each team going forward for the season?
It's an interesting question because I feel like South Carolina, there's no excuse right now for them. Like the quarterback thing would have worked had they looked good up to this point, but I don't think that that's going to work as an excuse for them. I think there's going to start to be some real questions about South Carolina if they lose this game, which they're heavily not favored in. Yeah. So I think this game means a lot for them at trying to get back. They've heard a lot in the offseason about how good they could be and about what they're going to bring to the SEC this year. This is the game to come out and prove it against a team, against a win. It's a winnable game for South Carolina. It really is, even though the spread's 14 points, 13.5 points. It's a winnable game for South Carolina on the road that they need to get their mojo back. Now for Missouri, it just continues the push. You have a tough schedule. You have some big games ahead of you. You win one like this, that's a huge resume booster, a huge team builder. I mean, they beat a good quarterback in Jalen Daniels at Kansas, so I'm not sure that they're worried about this game defensively. So it's big for both teams, but I think for South Carolina, it's a bigger game.
Yeah, I 100% think it's bigger for South Carolina. If they were to lose this game, they cannot afford to have another conference loss. They could maybe lose to Clemson and still make the playoffs. They can't afford to have another conference loss, and the schedule gets a lot harder for them, right? They're going to have LSU, Oklahoma, Alabama, Ole Miss after Kentucky. But that 4-game stretch, you have to win this game. And then on the other side for Missouri, they're going to have Alabama, Auburn, Vandy after UMass. It looks a little bit easier. So all that to say, just kind of raising the stakes more for this game. Final prediction.
Final predictions. I think Missouri has handled a good quarterback situation defensively. I think that they've handled an okay defense in Kansas. They were able to put up some points. They're finding stride. I like Missouri in this one. I see the under happening just because of South Carolina scoring. I like Missouri 31-13.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to say I like Missouri 24-14. We'll see what happens to quarterback play, whoever plays, but I like Missouri in this game 24-14. We want to know what y'all think here. Is this South Carolina's redemption game? Does Missouri keep it rolling? As always, I'm Randall Lett Jr., got Hunter Ziesman, and this is the new SEC Podcast.